All right, I thought we would kind of expand a little bit on what we did yesterday and kind of move into some heart opening, some back bending postures that allow us to really sense capacity for breath. And also to kind of, as we move today, as we kind of get into the back bending vibes of moving your spine into extension. Try to sense, have a little homework in your mind of sensing what is the position of my diaphragm right now and what does my breathing feel like when I'm bending forward, when I'm bending backward, when I'm twisting to the side. So of course, like always, we'll do all movements of the spine in any practice we do. And so just try to kind of hone in on what the position of your spine offers to your breathing and specifically to your diaphragm, just to get to know. So like yesterday, let your awareness of your breath be observatory. It doesn't have to be anything that you're really changing specifically, or just let the work do its thing. Just let the poses do their thing, and see if you can just kind of notice and be the observer of what's happening. So much of the time we can get really focused on the mechanics of a posture, that we can kind of lose sight of the breath. So nothing today will be extreme where you have to, put all your attention to making sure your posture is really perfect so that you don't hurt yourself. Everything will be in a container of safety and in a place where your body knows these poses, so you can tune your attention directly into your breathing, into your diaphragm, and through different shapes. Okay, so let's close our eyes. And our breath is just such a gift. So let's start with some gratitude. Okay, to recognize the incredible gift that your breath is. All you have to do is get sick and have a respiratory problem, or be around somebody who really struggles with their breathing, to recognize that not much else matters if you can't breathe well, that your world becomes very myopic if your breath is not functioning. So recognize the gift of an easy breath. Whatever else is challenging you in your mind, your body, your emotions, your life, let's see if we can kind of drop down into that very, very basic level of gratitude for the simple and important things. And as you feel your way into your posture, feel free to move a little bit, to change something, to adjust if you notice, uh-oh, this hurts or that's not right. Okay. And when you come into a healthy seat, where you feel a sense of stability and ease in your body, let's bring our awareness ever so slightly to the heart. Okay. And imagine that you could just lift your heart a little bit and broaden it outward, like you're showing it off for the world to see. And notice what happens in the back of your body when you do this. So try not to be compressive or guarded or gripped or pushing with the back body. Imagine that your heart space goes right, that heart chakra, Anahata chakra, goes right through you to the back of you as well. And see if you can now show off the back of your heart. And then imagine that this chakra is in the sides of you as well, and see if you can show off the sides of your heart. And then just sense that 360, like there's a sun inside your body. You can imagine an energy vortex or energy center, a chakra, however you like to visualize. Could be color, could be motion, could be texture, could be lightness, could be anything at all. Okay, so whatever you're sensing, see if whatever it is moves and expands in all directions. And then when you have that feeling, invite the breath into that expansive space within you. And notice the ebb and flow of the moving tide of your breath. Much of the time when we think of our breathing, we think about our anatomy, maybe your lungs or your trachea or the way your sinuses are, instead of kind of focusing on your structures. Let's focus on the energy center of the body that invites the movement of breath. So see if not only you can feel this ebb and flow of the movement of your heart chakra, but see if you can also drop down and come into an awareness of Manipurna, the chakra right below it, your third chakra, the center of your will and self-determination, kind of right below your diaphragm, kind of above your belly button, below your sternum. And in this space, find your 360 as well, that there's an energetic movement in all directions. And see if you can marry these two chakras. Of course, we have energy moving through our entire body, but for your attention right now, see if you can let these two energy centers in your body kind of move together. See if you can find harmony in how the diaphragm is the dance between these two. And again, remember that the diaphragm isn't this pinpoint thing in the front of your body, but it's a dome that runs through you. It's a 360 feeling around your ribs. So remember that the diaphragm is this not only this beautiful muscle that controls our breathing, but it's also this kind of separation of spaces in your body where you have the organs below and the organs above. So let's just sense into the dance of the diaphragm and how the internal organs in your abdomen receive that ebb and flow, as well as the lungs and the heart above your diaphragm receive that ebb and flow. And just try to notice yourself and your breathing in a different way instead of mechanically or anatomically. See if you can sense your breathing energetically. You have constant motion of the breath throughout our whole life. From the moment we're born to the moment we die, there's constancy in the motion of our breathing. We can change the pace, we can hold it for a teeny bit of time. But generally speaking, there is just perpetual motion. So see if you can just drop in to the energetics of that as well. Whatever you're touching in your awareness, let's see if we can stay with it and expand it as we practice. You might notice that it's difficult in the beginning to sense these things. Maybe your body's tight and you really just need to move. Maybe your mind is busy and it takes a little while to settle. So just notice how your awareness of these things are now, and as we practice, how much they change. Bring your hands to your heart and maybe gently offer the heart to the hands, lifting, expanding. Let's set an intention here. Where would you like this prana flow of your breath to move? where in your body needs healing, where in your mind needs support, where in your emotions need tender care. So can you bring the prana that you're receiving through your breath to where you need it? And maybe this can help you determine your intention for your practice. And then release your hands. And let's find our way to our back. All right, so as you stretch out and open up your body in a different plane, let's see if we can again feel those areas of our third and fourth chakras again. And just notice as your body shifts its weight and the joints change their position, lying down, what are you paying attention to? What draws your attention? Bring your awareness to your breath if it's not already there. Stretch your arms overhead and let's enjoy some movement of the spine, movement of the shoulders, of the ribs, of the hips, the legs, the arms. Just find that stretching one side and then stretching the other side. And just notice if something as simple as this is already freeing you up a little bit in any place that might be, you might have noticed is a little stuck. And then bring your knees into your chest and let your spine round just a little bit, your low back, and rock a little bit. Stay with your breath. It's very easy when we move to a posture for us to breath hold. Let's see if we can stay in our rhythms. All right, hang on to your knees and circle. See what it feels like to create a little ease across the hips, the back, the sacrum, the pelvis. And then change the direction and just feel that fluid movement. And then opening up your knees away from the middle, bringing them back in, and just enjoy tending to your body. We kind of allow the poses to do their magic in our physical body, and then slowly they start to do their magic in our mind and in our pranic body as well. So let's hug the right knee into your chest and move around and your ankles wiggling through your toes and feel some freedom. Our feet are so very important. Not only are they a terminal end point of our body, but they're also, where we tend to ground a lot when we're standing, when we're walking. So let's just wake these parts of ourselves up so that we're very aware. Cross the right knee over to the left and stretch into a twist and enjoy the movement of the spine in this way. Any movement that you want, arm, head, legs moving, anything at all. Or maybe you just want to be still and feel your breath moving here. Again, try to notice how the breath feels in different shapes that you take in your body. Draw that right knee in, pick up your head, a little hug. What happens to your diaphragm, your breath? Release your head down. Put your left foot on the ground. Grab onto your right foot, a half happy baby pose here, just getting a little depth into the hip joint. And then we'll cross the right foot over to the left and pick up the left knee to support that right foot and come into a reverse pigeon. Now, motion might be nice. You might want to circle around in your hip joint or pulse. Maybe you want to be still. Often when we begin our practice, some mobilization can be very helpful to warm us up. But if you're in the mood for stillness and your body's calling for that, then you do that. All right, and then release that foot down. And let's switch sides. Left knee into your chest, right leg stretches long. Find your feet again and enjoy the sensations that you feel. Notice your breath. Even though, our feet are probably pretty far away from our diaphragm, still there's a connection. So let's just notice how our breath and our sensation come together. Cross the left knee over to the right and stretch open to a twist on this side. Notice the breath. Notice how the spinal twist changes how your diaphragm and your ribs feel and how your breath moves. And then come back, bring that left knee into your chest, pick up your head, a little squeeze if you'd like, and then put your head down and bring your left leg into a reverse pigeon pose on this side. So bring your right knee underneath your left foot, maybe some movement, maybe some stillness. Just kind of find the way you want to warm up your body. How's the breath? Did it get stuck a little bit? It's so easy to lose sight of it. Just keep bringing yourself back when you can. And then we'll release our feet, 2 feet down onto the ground. Grab onto your left foot, stretch your right leg straight, half happy baby pose on this side. And you can always put your right foot on the ground instead of your right leg straight. Just open up your hip here a little bit. And then we'll release that leg down, starfish your body out in space. Let's roll our wrists and wiggle our fingers and roll your ankles and wiggle your toes. Feel those end points of the body. Deep breath in, stretch out to your star. Exhale, draw into a snug little ball. Pick up your head. One more time, expanding open. Notice the breath. Exhale, drawing in. Notice the breath. Put your head down. Grab your feet, a full happy baby pose now. So just let your back open up, your pelvis open up a little bit, maybe all the way to your tail. Feels a good stretch. And maybe you're rocking, maybe you're being still, maybe you're straightening one leg. Just kind of find the motion that feels right for you. And then put your feet down onto the ground, arms out to the side. And as you windshield wiper your knees and turn your head in opposition, notice where you're breathing. Notice how your body is changing just by the simplicity of subtle movements, that it doesn't take much sometimes for us to feel better. Okay? Stretch and open your body to a star. Exhale, knees into your chest, and we'll roll to our side and come up to your hands and your knees. Okay. Finding your way onto all fours, and we'll start to move through some cat-cows. Let's remember that we're leading with our breath. Our breath is guiding the motion. What does it feel like to move your spine, to move your ribs? What does the inhale feel like? What does the exhale feel like? See if you can notice both of those energy centers, your heart, both front and back, and your third chakra, your Manipura. See what it feels like to just have this sense of openness and rhythm and fluidity and motion. And then drop down to a child's pose and walk your hands forward. And let's go ahead and find a child's pose. Breathing deeply. Notice the ribs. Walk the hands to one side and feel that reaching through the whole side of your body from your hand to your hip. And then over to the other side and enjoy what it feels like to stretch open through the side. And then come back to center, up onto all fours, and let's move your spine any way you want to move your spine. Maybe your tail wants to wag, maybe your ribs want to move, maybe your head wants to swoosh around. Be happy with all the mobility that you have. Trying to get lots of fascial movement, spinal movement. Take a deep breath, reach one arm up. Maybe a little movement in your wrist and hand. Exhale, drop that shoulder down. Twisting to the side. Notice how your breath feels. And then we'll face the ground a little bit more. Have the shoulder underneath you or the arm underneath you still, but we're broadening across the collarbones. Drop your hips back towards child's pose a little bit more and stretch the shoulder. Inhale, reach that arm up in the air, maybe a movement with your hand if you like. And then we'll switch sides. Bring the other arm up, swirl around in your wrist, and drop that arm under, twisting to the side. Notice how the twist affects your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Can you soften through your skull, release any tension in your neck? Keep finding your breath. And then when you're ready, face the ground a little bit more. If your hips were high, drop them back. Feel the shoulders stretch open, wide collarbones. Notice your breath here. And then reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Toes curl under and find your dog. All right, so start to find your legs now. Feel some pedaling. Feel some movement in your hips, maybe bending your knees a little. Just kind of find what wants to move and open in this pose. Take your time. Make sure you're breathing as you go. Whatever movement you're doing it with your breath. And then find that yielding. From the yield, push off your hands and reach through your body. Legs, arms, spine. Notice your breath in this position. Is there anything that you can tend to here? All right, and then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, forward fold, opening up the back body a little bit more. A halfway lift, extending, opening up the spine. Exhale and release. Bend your knees, lengthen your spine. Notice how your breath changes depending on your spinal movements. Inhale to open up and lengthen. Then exhale and soften your spine toward the ground. Push through the feet, rising up. Bring the arms upward to the sky. Feel that extension. Open yourself up. Let's see what it feels like to just lean back a little bit with the arms up overhead. Can you stretch open to a bit of a back bend here and notice the changing shape in your body and notice how your breath responds. Feel your bottom ribs, feel your diaphragm. All right, back to neutral. Cactus, open your arms, elbows bend, draw your shoulder blades toward each other, pull your hands back, and then exhale and round in, chin to chest. One more time, bring the arms into that cactus, feel the chest rise, the heart lifts, show it off again. Exhale, show off the back of the heart, spreading your wings. Take your hands into a fist, pull your arms forward, spreading your shoulder blades, and then reach down toward the ground. Keep spreading your shoulder blades and relax into an Uttanasana. Grab onto your elbows and hang, and just let the momentum of gravity help you lengthen through your ribs a little bit. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Get your hands free, maybe on legs or blocks. Exhale, come back down. Push through your feet, rising up. And then trace down through the center line of the body. Pause here. Find that full 360 of your heart space, the movement of your diaphragm, that feeling of your organs below the diaphragm responding to its movement, and the organs above the diaphragm responding to its movements. All right, let's turn sideways, take your legs wide on the mat, turn your toes out, elbows inside your knees, and drop down to a deep squat, opening up the hips a little bit here. Release your spine down. Ground your legs. And then inhale, come all the way back up, standing star. Notice the breath here. Let's move through some goddess poses. As we drop down, feel that grounding. Move your arms any which way you want to move your arms. And let's just notice as your body changes shape, what changes in your breath. Where do you like to exhale? Where do you like to inhale? What is the energetics of that? So, does your inhale give you some energy? Do your exhales give you a little bit of a release? How does that shape the postures that you're doing? Can you still keep your torso upright so your chest is broad? Show off the front and back heart. And then we're going to stay down here in a goddess. Open up your hips, open up your chest. It doesn't have to be super deep. You be where you are. Feel that diaphragmatic motion. Ground into your feet. Inhale, standing star. And then heel toe your feet back in, face the front of your mat, and bring your hands down. If you can interlace your hands comfortably behind your back, do that. Or if you're like me and your shoulders need a little help, maybe grab a strap in between your hands. Feet hip width apart. Open up through your chest. Reach your hands down toward the ground as you lift your heart. Draw your hyoid bone in your throat back, and then lengthen up through your throat. Touch your teeth. And then we'll exhale. Bend your knees and reach your arms away from your spine, stretching the fronts of your shoulders. Maybe wag your tail to release any tension through your spine. See what it feels like to breathe in this position. All right, and then relax the hands down toward the ground. Release the strap if you're using a strap. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Step back to a dog pose. Feel length and space in your body. And we'll come forward into a plank. Feel your ground. Even here with the strength that your center body requires, is there still pranic flow? What's the shape of your diaphragm now? What's the shape of your breath now? And we'll find the ground all the way to your belly. Take your shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, cobra. Open up through that back bend. Exhale and release to come back down. One more time, shoulders back. Open up. Exhale and release. Come back up onto all fours. Give your spine some movement. And then we're going to come onto our back. Lie down on your back. And we're going to do a full bridge pose here. So arms down at your sides if you want to interlace your fingers. If that feels safe to you, where you can stay in some external rotation of the upper arm bones and the shoulder sockets, then interlace your hands together. I can't do that. My shoulders internally rotate if I bring my hands together underneath me. So for me, I have my arms down at my sides, palms turned up so I can work with that external rotation of the shoulders. So do what works for your body. Ground the four corners of your feet and lift up to a bridge. Rock onto the tops of your shoulders. So we're bringing the shoulder blades closer toward each other underneath us. Open up the arm bones. If your arms are straight, press them into the ground. Ground through the four corners of your feet. Feel the strength
to hold you here. Keep your neck at ease. Find the shape of your breath here. Can you bring the breath into all the rib cage? Can you sense the diaphragmatic movement on both the inhale and the exhale? Can you feel the movement of the organs above and below the diaphragm? And then we'll slowly lower our pelvis back down. Maybe windshield wiper your knees and turn your head in opposition of your knees. We're still breathing. Roll to your right side. Bring your palms together, knees together. Deep breath in, twist open. Bring that arm behind you, turn your head, and then exhale back to center. Feel the range of motion here as you twist open. Breathe, maybe the inhale comes. And when your hands come back to center, maybe the exhale comes. Roll yourself to your other side. Stack your knees and hands. Inhale, open up into a twist. Turn your head, exhale, hands come back to center. How's the neck mobility? How's the shoulder mobility? How's the breath feel here? Roll onto your back, stretch to a big star. Exhale, knees into your chest. Pick up your head round the spine, and we'll roll to our side and come up to a dog pose. Take your time. Ground your hands, ground your feet. Notice your body. Notice your breath. Can you feel the diaphragm in the back of your body? Can you feel the changing shape of the organs above and below your diaphragm in the back of your body? And walk your feet forward, Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up the spine. Exhale and relax. Push through your feet, rising up. And then hands down next to your sides. Pause here. Find your breath. Ground through your feet. Unlock all the places. Your knees unlock. Your pelvic floor unlocks. Your diaphragm unlocks. Your throat unlocks. All those bandhas, when, our throat, our diaphragm, and our pelvic floor. Bandha means to bind, but the bandha is only binding when we're doing a specific pranayamic technique to support our core strength or to kind of pressurize our internal organs against our spine or do specific breath. So there's lots of ways to work with the bandhas to support you, but when we're just being, we don't want to lock the bandhas. We want to let the ebb and flow, like wind blowing the curtains in one way and then the curtains out the other way. Nothing is bound. See if you can sense into the throat, the diaphragm, and the pelvic floor and its mobility. Where do you tend to bind? If you tend to grip one of these places, one of these opportunities for bandha, for binding, where do you tend to bind? Do you tend to bind the throat? Do you tend to bind the diaphragm? Do you tend to bind the pelvic floor? If your unconscious gripping pattern lives somewhere in that gate, those gates of control, which one is your place? That's good information to know, because a lot of tension patterns can stem from there. So the more that we can learn to open these places and let them flow, contract and release, the better. Take a deep breath in. Open up, lift your arms, exhale, and float forward. A halfway lift, extending through the spine. Let's step our left foot back, come to a lunge here. Ground yourself. Let's start to move the body as we do, straightening, bending the front knee. Just enjoying what the hip flexors feel like, enjoying what the hamstrings feel like. And then place the back knee down onto the ground, maybe inch your front toes forward a little bit. So you're lunging far so that the hip flexors on the back leg are stretching open. Our pelvis is forward of our back knee. Lift that up. Reaching your left arm up in the air, and let's twist to the right. So forearm, hand, or knee, or elbow on your knee. Twist and notice the breath. Notice the diaphragm. Notice the organs above and below. And then release those hands down. Come back to a half Hanumasana. And as we forward bend through the spine, notice the changing shape of your diaphragm. Can you feel the expansion of the organs above and below in the back of your body? Okay, ground your lunge. Push through your foot, lift your back knee up off the ground again. Rise up, crescent lunge. Opening up through your arms. And then bring your hands onto your hip and plant your back heel down. So we're moving into Virabhadrasana 1. So with the back foot grounded, sweep forward first with your arms down at your sides. So we feel that extension from crown to back foot, using your core, using your front leg, push into the ground, rise up, create a little bit of back bend in the upper spine here. Try not to compress the low back in Vira 1. Root into the legs. Give the strength there to rise out of your hips. Reach your shoulders. Reach your arms. Breathe. Notice the shape of your diaphragm here. Notice the shape of your breath. Hands down. Back foot comes forward. Fold deeply. Notice your body changing shape. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, right foot comes back, lunging this side. Let's move the front leg, bending and straightening that front knee. Feeling the hips stay square, noticing the breath. Where is it living? Are you giving yourself an opportunity to feel that pranic flow, to notice energy moving through your body, not just into your lungs? And then we'll place that back knee down onto the ground. Okay. Inhale, find your lunge. Make sure your pelvis is forward of your back knee. So we're really opening up the hip flexor of the back leg. Reach that right arm up in the air, extend, and we'll take the twist to this side. Forearm, hand, or elbow. Find your breath. Enjoy the twisting. Enjoy what the breath feels like here. What is the motion of the sensing of your diaphragm? And bring your hands back to the blocks. Come into a half Hanumasana. You can use your blocks, lengthen through your spine. Maybe your head bows, but the spine stays long. Reach that left hip back. Breathe into the back of your body. Ground your front foot again. Lift your back knee up off the ground. Root your legs. Climb up, crescent lunge. Arms coming to the sky. Hips are square, so the back heel is up off the ground for this variation. How's your breath? All right, and then hands onto your hips. Place the back heel down. So this will make your back hip turn a little bit, and that's okay. Root forward with your crown. Reach your arms behind you and feel that connection. The front knee is bending. Feel the connection of the back heel through to your crown. And then swoop the arms up for Virabhadrasana 1. You can interlace your hands or bring them wider. You can even have your hands on your hips. But open up through the heart space, a little bit of a back bend without losing the support of your core for your low back. So our legs are giving us the grounding, our core supporting, reaching into the pose. And now notice the breath above and below the diaphragm movement. And then bring the hands down onto the ground, back to a dog. Notice the changing shape of your body and how it impacts your breath. Come forward into a plank. Feel your strength. Girdle your torso a little bit. This is where the bandhas can start to kick into gear to help you. And then we'll find our way to the ground in the most supportive fashion for you. Take your arms down at your sides, palms facing the ground. Inhale and reach up, arms and legs lift off the ground. Notice the diaphragm and its movement. And then relax. Put your hands underneath your head. Pick up your feet. And let's windshield wiper our knees. Notice how your breath feels when you're lying prone. You know, your diaphragm has a different orientation to gravity. Your sensing of your body when it's against the ground is different. So notice the freedom in the back of your body. Notice the feeling of moving in and out, into the floor and away from the floor with your front body. Let's bring our right arm in front of us. Put your head on it. Grab your left ankle and stretch your quad here. Keep your tail long. If this is hard, you can always roll over onto your side for a quad stretch. Keep your tail long. The pelvis is nice and stable. How's your breath? Okay, we'll switch sides. Stretch your quad on the other side, grabbing onto your right ankle. Left leg is straight. Your head is on your left arm. Notice your breathing. All right, and then we'll release that. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Move around in your spine. Wag your tail. Maybe a cat and a cow. And maybe a child's pose. Notice the breath. If you're coming down to a child's pose, notice the breath. All right, so if you want, we can do a full bow pose. And if you'd rather do a different back bend versus bow pose, you do you. Okay, so come back onto your belly and you decide how deep you're going into this posture. If you're following me, grab your ankles, take a deep breath. Our shoulders hopefully are nice and open from what we've done. Ground through your legs so your knees are hip width apart or rooting your thighs, moving your tail toward your knees. Kick your feet back, lift up, open your chest, keep your neck neutral, and breathe. Notice the breath, notice the diaphragm, notice the movement above and below. And then relax to come out of whatever pose you're in. windshield wiper your knees. Maybe your head turns in opposite of your knees. Alright, come up onto your forearms. Bring your left knee up toward your armpit. Take a look at your knee. Just feel that compression in the low back a little bit. This should feel nice after the back bend. And then we'll cross the right arm underneath us and roll open to a twist. And as you twist, notice the breath. Coming back through to the center. Bring your right knee up. Take a look at it. This should be a release for the diaphragm, for the hip flexor, for the back. Okay. And then we'll cross the left arm underneath you, roll open to a twist. Finding your breath melt through your head. Relax your body. I'm going to roll all the way onto your back. Put your left foot on the ground. Bring your right knee in toward your chest. Let's interlace our fingers behind our right hamstring. Keep your left foot bent, foot on the floor. And the right toes are up in the air. Let's flex and point and whatever kind of movement you want to do in your foot. You can circle your foot up there in the air if you'd like to. Move your hamstring into your hands. Press your thigh back. And then draw that knee in again and place your foot down onto the ground. Second side, hands interlaced behind your left hamstring. Maybe interlace your hands the weird way. Always try to have a little pathway etching in your nervous system. When your left foot is up there, move it around however you want. You can circle, you can flex and point. Just kind of find what feels good in your foot. So much going on in your feet. Let's enjoy. And then press your thigh into, your thigh into your hands. Drop your femur bone down. And then relax your knee in toward your chest. Release that foot onto the ground. And we're going to, you can stay here for a reverse pigeon if you'd like, or you can roll over for a reverse pigeon, for a regular pigeon pose. I'm going to roll over for regular pigeon pose. Okay, so you do you. Let's do the right leg first, squaring your hips, either right foot on left knee or right legs forward in pigeon. Extend through your spine and melt your head, either the back of your head into the ground or the forehead into a block or your hands. One of the reasons why I like pigeon pose versus reverse pigeon pose in a practice like we're doing today is that our torso is not touching the ground at this moment in this pose, so that the feeling of expansion through the rib cage and the diaphragm can feel that there's space 360. So enjoy that. And if you're in reverse pigeon pose, you can still feel the 360 of your rib cage and your diaphragm. Just notice where you're grounding into the ground, where it's expanding in the front of you. Notice the fullness of your breath. Can you feel movement front and back? Can you feel movement above and below the diaphragm? All right, let's find our way out of that posture into the other side. If you're in reverse, you can just switch your legs. If you're in pigeon pose, switch your legs. All right, so squaring the pelvis, lengthening the spine, and supporting the head. No matter your position, your sit bones are squaring and widening. Once you get the structure of your posture set, bring your awareness to the breath. And again, we're just observing how our breath moves. There's so much of the time our breathing is unconscious. Let's bring it to the light. Can you feel the fullness of your diaphragm moving? Can you feel what flows above and below? Can you sense into that energetic nature of your breath? Are the bandhas open and free to move and contract and expand with the breath? Check in with your neck. And then when you're ready, come onto your back. Take a moment to do any postures that you need. Maybe a happy baby, maybe a twist, just kind of sense what it is that your body needs for surrendering and releasing into Shavasana. So take your time here. Maybe you need a legs up, pelvis up on a block with your legs in the air. So just kind of experiment with the completion of your practice. And then as we prepare for Shavasana, grab your two blocks and have them underneath your outer knees or your hips for a moment. And we'll start our Shavasana in a supported Supta Baddha Konasana. So lying flat on your back, if that's what's comfortable for you, but using those blocks to support your legs. If you like to have a bolster underneath your knees for Shavasana, just have it close by so we can adjust that when the time comes. Maybe you want to put your hands on your pelvis or your belly or your chest or your diaphragm or your throat, or maybe your arms want to be really wide out to the sides. So just kind of find what kind of sensation you want for this pose. Commune with your body and your breath in the way that supports you best. Open up the bandhas. Feel the pranic flow. If you notice your breath pausing, just return to the movement. You might be really happy with your legs in this position, or whenever your body is telling you to straighten your legs, go ahead and do that. And when that moment arises, if you need a little back support, you can just bring your knees into your chest for a moment, a little rocking or a little happy baby or whatever feels right, and then take your legs for Shavasana. And you can, if you're very comfortable, you can stay in Baddha Konasana for the whole entirety of Shavasana. Your choice. Everything is always your choice. Notice your breath. As Shavasana arrives, whatever your position is great, but bring your awareness to your body melting and your body breathing. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Feel your body melt again. And then invite whatever movement arises within you. Take your time to find your way to your side.
Use your arms to help you upright when you're ready. And as you come to a supported, comfortable seat, take a moment to just explore the feeling of prana again, those the ebb and flow of your breath, the movement of your diaphragm, the movement of the organs above and below, the energy bodies, your chakras. Just sense what you're feeling. Bring your hands to your heart and offer your practice to another. Bring your breath to them. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.